Hello, everyone. So today we will be using our Jitterbit Cloud Studio to get the records out of Salesforce and get an account from Salesforce. You see right here, Jitterbit, and create a new customer record or insert new record into Vend. We created store called Candlelight. This is our URL that we're using, and we will be creating a new record here in Vend from Salesforce. So if we go to the first thing, what we want to look at, we're going to go into the Cloud Studio. And this is one of our projects here in Cloud Studio. So you can see here's the flow. So we're going to take the record out of Salesforce. We're using our Salesforce connector on this side. And getting the records out and saving them into a variable, and then use that variable to send the data into Vend. We also have an example of FTP. If you want to get the records out of a CSV file, it could be configured here in Jitterbit as a source, as an FTP source, and then point to the right file and insert records into Salesforce. It can also be getting the records out of FTP and inserting into Vend. So as long as you define the source and target, you can create the transaction with the transformation. You can put any rules if you need, and insert those records into Vend. So this is basically drag and drop. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we will go into here. It can be put on schedule, or you can actually run it as an API. So there are different options here. Just for the demo purposes, we're going to be running this manually. So I'm going to right-click here and just click on deploy and run, or you can just do run. It doesn't matter. So we'll just do deploy and run. And then here we should see the status as soon as it's now it's in received status. And then in this case, we're getting the records out of Salesforce. And based on the response, we'll automatically call the second operation that gets the data out of that variable. And then it inserts it into Vend. So it looks like it's both success. So let's look at this response here. If we go and look at the success with info, I did turn the debug mode on, and I wanted to also see the payload coming back. So this is the actual payload that's coming back in querying Salesforce. So these are all the records. And we see that it is the Jitterbit, last name Green, first name Rachel. So if we now go back to our Vend store and then do a refresh, we should have another record here. Right here, it says Jitterbit, Rachel Green. And this was inserted from Salesforce. So if we go back to Salesforce and click on Jitterbit and go into details, you can see that we have the same record here. So Rachel Green. Now, if we go back to the Cloud Studio, you see that in order to insert into Vend application exposes a RESTful API. We did not have an existing connector here in Jitterbit. So what I did, I actually we have a component that's called Connector Builder in Jitterbit. So I went and I created a connector using our Connector Builder component in our Cloud Studio. And I created this component with these three methods. So we can do get products, we can do get customers, and we can do create customer. This is exactly what we just did. We used the method to create customer. So as soon as I created this, the connector, now this connector is available in the library of all of my other connectors, and I can use it and we can add additional methods. So you can get, like, for example, this is an example of getting the product out into a variable, and then you can take those products and insert it into any other application. So you can create a source and a target. Same thing here, I'm doing get customer, and then inserting that customer into a variable, and I can use that information anywhere. So there are a lot of things you can do with Jitterbit. is just one of the flavors here. I just wanted to, again, show you how we can create a connector that is currently not available in a library of connectors. So that's how easy it is. You just use our connector builder to do that. And then you create all of these different custom connectors that I've already created. And then now it shows up in my library, and I was able to do various integrations or create various integrations using that connector. One of the examples is Salesforce, but as I mentioned, it can be database, it can be bi-directional, so there are a lot of different options that you can do. But just to recap what we did, we created a connector for Vend. We exposed it in our library, and then we used that connector. One of the examples we just looked at was to get the data out of Salesforce and inserted new customer into Vend. So this concludes the demo that showed various integrations with Vend and how we can create a connector builder. If you have any questions, please contact Jitterbit. Thank you.